It was then that Swarbrick and the Greens took over and she yelled this controversial phrase, "From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free."
One of the questions that would be asked was it wise to use it? No criticism, by the way. I'm not saying she shouldn't have. But as an MP, should she have used it or not? That'll be an interesting conversation, knowing that the other side think of it in a certain way. Now, I know some people, that will probably anger some people watching that I've even said that. I'm not saying she shouldn't have. I'm just saying as an MP sitting, was it inflammatory? Did it inflame? Is it the right thing to do there and then? I mean, personally, I don't have any problems with it. Personally, right? No issues with Chloe saying it. But from her perspective as someone, I guess, coming up to being in opposition, will it further the cause that she wants, or will it drag it backwards? Because now you've got calls for her to be censured, maybe? Chewy?
I think we're kind of circling around a similar sort of point to when we talked about Posey Parker getting sourced.
Right.
Is a politician should maybe see that as much as the argument around that phrase is potentially bullshit. I mean, that rabbi talking about, Jews carrying on their lives and all of that sort of stuff. Palestinians can't carry out their lives, their normal lives, literally just down the road from him. So I'm sorry he's offended by a phrase. I'm offended by stacks of dead children and rubble. I'm offended by an Israeli politician suggesting that they should nuke Gaza and get it over and done with.
Can I interrupt? Keep your thought process there, because I just wanted to bring this up, because I think there's a really, really good point you've just made, right? Which is, these are words, right? This was a story from CNN over the weekend. A Palestinian American family mourns 42 relatives killed in a single day in Gaza. So the point that you just made about what Gazans can actually do right now, Palestinians can do right now, there's stories coming out now, and thanks to social media, we're getting accounts that wouldn't normally be there. So examples of a single family losing 42 people in one day, not 42 members of Hamas, 42 family members killed in a single day in Hamas. So I actually think the point you made then is really, really good and valid, Chewy, that the Jewish rabbi is saying it speaks of a future where we may not be free to live where we want. And then we go, well, how about today? How about today in Gaza? And I just wanted to add this into your point, because I read this through the weekend, and
it's exactly right.
Yeah. So sorry, continue.
I really struggle with this one, because it's like, I absolutely understand the reason why Israel was formed. I understand the wars that they fought for their existence, and how that has framed the country that they are now. Their reaction, I think, to this is completely phrased by what's happened in the past. When someone comes for me, I will come back at them with such furious anger that they will never do it again.
Yeah.
And they did it when Egypt, Jordan, Syria, all of them, you're completely surrounded on all sides by unfriendly nations armed by the Russians. That you had to knock people back on their heels so hard that they wouldn't do it again. But they have applied that to basically a place smaller than Auckland. They have shown absolutely zero restraint. And their stated goal of getting hostages back, this isn't going to accomplish that. They're flinging out so much high explosive around how they're going to find anybody. And they've absolutely poisoned public opinion against them as well. There's been more focus about how Palestinians have been treated that I have seen in the past week than I've seen for years.
Yeah.
The running death toll of Palestinian civilians, it's always ticking over. It always has been. This is just a dramatic uptick. There have been more civilians killed in the last week in Gaza and in the West Bank now as well than there have been in the Ukraine in 2 years.
Wow.
It is just so out the gates disproportionate, and they showing absolutely no heed to public opinion, and Western leaders absolutely paralyzed by this narrative that's been trotted out, that if you criticize the state of Israel, or if you criticize the idea of Zionism, then you are anti-Jewish, you are anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
And the world is rightly sensitive to that because the Holocaust happened. But you've got to be able to hold more than one idea in your head at the same time.
And that's true, though, true. And like I told you this last week, because of the conversations we've been having, which I actually think have been very, like on day one, we reported that it was being reported that Israel bombed a hospital. On day two, we said, well, there's actually BBC saying it looks like it came from within Hamas. On day three, we shared another, like that architectural group who said it looked like the rockets came from where. So we've actually been quite information focused on this. Yet because we've had that conversation, mentioning not both sidesing the issue, but giving you the information, I've been added to anti-Semitic lists going around Twitter right now. So I'm on anti-Semitic lists going around Twitter right now, which I don't care about, but that just goes to show that it's like if you're not 100% with us, then you're 100% against us.